Robbie Ball owns a watch and a sneaker brand. He launched them after selling his 3-year-old web design business that he started in uni. At school, he had 2 businesses. The guy's just 24. He loves what he calls hype marketing, and he is a freak. Before we get stuck into episode 402 of the Small Business Big Marketing Show, the Marketing Gold is made possible thanks to Prosper, American Express, and Design Crowd. You know, Design Crowd is the world's #1 custom design marketplace, and you can grab $100 off your brief at designcrowd.com/Timbo. Prosper, well, they're Australia's #1 online lender to small businesses. You can check them out at prosper, prospa.com/Timbo. And then there's American Express. Well, you know who they are. Search Amex Business to find out how your business expenses can reward you. And now, on with the show.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show, where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
And welcome back to the Small Business Big Marketing Show. I am your host, Timbo Reid. You, infinitely more importantly, you're a motivated business owner. You are ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful, beautiful business of yours into the empire it deserves to be. Big show today. You and I, well, we're going to catch up with 24-year-old entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur really, Robbie Ball, to find out how he's done it really. Watch brand, sneaker brand. He's got another brand on the runway, ready for launch. He loves a thing called hype marketing. So much to cover. Dave Jenyns and I are going to reveal a simple way for you to create authority content. And listener Thomas Gardner from Alabama, is that how they speak out there? I don't know, wants to know how to get more customers for his massage business. Big show. As per usual, there is marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in.
Ignite your site.
With so many underperforming business websites out there, this segment, well, it's laser focused on ensuring yours is not one of them. To get your website found and your phone ringing, we're joined by Dave Jenyns of Melbourne SEOservices.com. DJ, what is on your mind, my friend?
I have this recurring problem that I see business owners have that I tried to help them solve. They know they should create great content. They listen to Timbo's podcast.
Oh, nice.
And they get inspired. They want to write articles and get videos out, but they just don't have time to do it.
Yeah.
They're lucky if they put one blog post out a quarter.
Yeah, I hear it all the time.
So here's what I would
And
do.
they've got great intention. They just kind of don't really have a process or system to be more regular.
Exactly right. So here's what I would do. Literally, this is what we do for clients. We batch that content creation. We follow a process that I call authority content, which you know quite well. You spoke at the event where I first...
Yeah, right.
All right.
It was a good event.
It was a great event. It was one of the best. And what I would get the business owner to do is upfront identify their frequently asked questions. Think about what makes their company different or questions that they think their audience should be asking. You list them all out. You probably want at least 30 or more.
Yep.
And then you video record them all in one go.
Yeah, like
So
that. Like that. You don't have to video record, by the way. Like you could audio record, you could write.
You could, but...
Infographic on you. You love the video.
The reason I love the video, and I would encourage the business owner to do it, or to get someone on the team to do it, because once you got video, you can split out the audio.
Repurpose.
You can get it transcribed.
Another tip,
you
mate.
SEO
Another tip,
it. You share it. You email your database. You know I'm the repurposing king.
Machine.
And we will no doubt probably repurpose this content.
You will.
That's right. And this really is the secret to our success. In fact, I wrote an Amazon bestseller about it. I'm so proud of it, and I would love to give the listener a free copy of that book.
Wow.
Just email me, dave@melbourneseoservices.com, write authority content in the subject, and you'll receive a free copy of my book.
Very generous, buddy. Thanks, DJ. That is just one more way to
Ignite your site.
cheap, quick, great. I used to work with a designer who'd force me to choose two of those three options whenever I wanted something designed. As a small business owner with limited funds, it drove me nuts that I could never have all three. That's why I love Design Crowd. You see, Design Crowd is a website that helps startups, small businesses and marketers outsource custom design, from logos and business cards to websites and landing pages. In fact, Design Crowd gives you access to over 550,000 designers from Sydney to San Francisco, ready to help you with awesome creative ideas. Here's how it works. You post a brief describing your design need. Within hours, you'll receive your first design, and over the next 3 to 10 days, a typical project will receive 60 to 100 different designs from designers around the world. You then pick your favourite, make any changes, and pay the designer. You know, whether you're an entrepreneur looking to set up your brand or an established business that needs marketing collateral designed, Design Crowd is your answer. For a special $100 VIP listener offer, go to designcrowd.com/Timbo or enter the discount code Timbo when posting a project. See? Now you can have cheap, quick and great design thanks to Design Crowd. You and I will be meeting some amazing business owners and marketers over the coming weeks. We'll catch up with a fellow who's been having huge success using spokespeople in his marketing. Plus, we meet a school teacher who found the secret to building her personal brand is writing books, 12 books in fact. Fantastic story, that one. But that brings us to today's guest, 24-year-old serial entrepreneur Robbie Ball. Big thank you to listeners Dan Kennedy and Daniel Izzo, who independently brought Robbie to my attention. Now, how's this? By the time Robbie finished school, he's already started a shoe business and had a crack at manufacturing compression sportswear to compete with global brand Skins, as you do. In first year uni, he started a web design business that he sold after 3 years. 6 years on, he's the founder of Uncle Jack watches and sneaker brand Athletikan. He is also about to launch a third business in a couple of months, which he tells us about during this chat. The guy's a freak and has a wonderful, wonderful respect for marketing. Hype marketing, to be specific. You know what I mean? Specific, is that the word? He'll explain what hype marketing is and how you can do it. I started off by asking Robbie to describe himself as a teenager.
Ambitious. So, I mean, I'm the type of person that will try my hand at everything. Business, sport, technology. I've got a lot of sort of passion. So, I think even now, still very, I like to kind of dip my toes in a few different things. So, I'm not sure if you're referring to a few of my early business ventures.
Yes, I am.
There's a few questionable business ventures.
Righto.
Between
come clean, buddy.
All right, yeah. So, I think what kicked it off was the importing shoes when I was about 13 or 14, and I used to bring like a little like a bit of a catalogue into my class and go,
of course,
guys, I can get these, So that was a kind of where it all started. And then I had when I was about 16, I started a compression, like a sports compression wear company.
I love this. This is a great story.
So sourced a manufacturer in Pakistan. And I used to. This was probably start of VCE, so I was a busy operator at the time.
Yes.
So I used to stay up because of the time difference, stay up till 2 or 3 and talking to the manufacturer, and I think Skins had nothing to worry about.
But this is incredible because at the time, I mean, Skins were the biggest. It was compression sportswear, right? That you were interested in ruling the world over.
Yeah.
Skins by far had the market, right?
Yeah.
What were you thinking?
I was ambitious, but, I think I'm just the type that's just going to have a crack regardless. And I think, at 16 years old, you've got nothing to lose. And I don't know, it's a bit of fun, really.
You're 25 now, right?
24.
Well, all right, 24, 25.
Yes.
When I was young, I used to say, I'd always quote 2 years above what I really was. But have you lost any of that competitive spirit, or is it still there?
No, yeah.
It's still there. Does it grow?
Well, I think you need to kind of control it a little bit, because if you try and do too many things,
what's it feel like?
I just try and be the best that I can be. So whatever that kind of entails, so be it. Yeah.
Right.
So yeah.
So it's just part of your DNA is you just want to you want to try new things, you want to take risks, and whatever that is, you want to be the best at it? Putting words into your mouth there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good summary.
Cool.
Yeah.
Feel a little bit embarrassed by that, are you? Or,
No, that's fine. I think you've painted a good little picture there.
But
of
that's
me,
fantastic, mate. I'm the father of 3 teenagers, so I'm even from that point of view, I'm interested in. Do you think it's just part of you? It's not. Do you think it's something you can learn?
Well, I think the underlying thing is you have to be passionate about it,
right?
Because otherwise, it's very difficult to try and kind of do or be the best at something when you're not passionate. So, I try and stay in my lane.
Yeah.
But try and push the boundaries a little bit and try new things.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about pushing the boundaries shortly. How did you go taking Skins on in VCE? Was it a quick failure?
Yeah, pretty quick.
Good.
Yeah.
What'd you learn?
Well, I learned how to source and manufacture at 16, so that's a huge skill, to be honest. And I have used it with my other businesses now. Marketing, kind of setting up a website, which was just at the time was completely foreign to me.
Yes.
And then when I finished school, I ended up doing a website design business. So.
Well, let's talk about that. How'd you go on VCE out of interest?
Well.
Did you? So you're a smart rooster as well. 15 days after finishing school, you started a website design business.
Yep.
3 years and 50 clients later,
yeah,
you sold it or closed it.
Yeah, it kind of got pushed aside really with Uncle Jack.
The watches
really just taking off. Yeah.
What made you decide to start a website design business 15 days after school finished? Aren't you meant to be on schoolies?
Yeah, you're right. Well, I kind of, in that last final year, 12 year, just kind of said to myself, okay, Robbie, just, let's take a back seat. So I kind of, the whole year was kind of spent planning what I was going to do the next year, or, in terms of, business venture, because I was never not going to do something. So yeah, as I said, when I started the compression wear business, I kind of learnt how to create websites and thought, I was getting pretty good at it. As a kind of marketing person, sort of saw the opportunity behind it as well. Marketing to small business owners who are focusing on their business and obviously need some help online with their website and online marketing and stuff. So it just it was a natural progression.
Mm-hmm. Were you ever going to study?
I did study, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
So you've got your website design business going, and you're at uni?
Yep. So I did my Bachelor of Business.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
Whereabouts?
I did it at La Trobe.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, I did mine at Monash, and it's probably a better course, but what did you specialise in, marketing?
Sports management.
Ah,
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, hence you've got a sneaker brand, which we'll come to.
There you go. Yep.
So, again, what's your big learning from owning a website design business?
Online marketing, because I think the skills I learned there,
yes,
are just transferable across almost any business. Really.
Yes,
'cause every business needs marketing, and so that was the major skill I learned.
Yeah, okay. We'll talk about that. I imagine the hype marketing that we're going to kind of get into. Big component of that is online.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, love it. All right, buddy. Well, that brings us to 3 years ago. I feel like we've already covered someone's complete career. And at this point, you're only like 22 in 2014 when you start Uncle Jack's Watches.
Yeah.
Now, I always get fascinated, Robbie, when I meet someone who's entered what looks like a very competitive marketplace, a very tough marketplace, with a product that needs a lot of promotion. Yeah, I'm looking at Tag or Longines or one of these big watch companies. But you've gone, no, there's room for another watch. What were you thinking?
Well, I mean, how it came about was I was looking for a watch for a friend's 21st birthday. And, you know, watches are such a standard kind of gift, you know.
Yes.
So I was walking through the major shopping centre and just kind of looking at all the watches, and I just thought, like, wow, these are quite pretentious, you know, pretty overpriced. And,
Yes.
you know, to be frank, I didn't really think they were really good looking. So I walked out of there literally that day just thinking, I've got to do something here. Like, this needs a bit of a shake-up. So, yeah, went and designed one style,
Can't just do
4
that.
colours.
You have literally not been able to find your friend a watch.
Yeah.
So you've gone and started a watch company.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that's how kind of ideas kind of trigger. You just
Mate, I love
see
it.
something and...
Is it that easy?
No.
You,
I mean, that's.
I'm going to dig hard here.
Yeah, okay.
Because I'm fascinated. I mean, again, plenty of people listening have lots of ideas, including myself, and those ideas remain ideas, right? Unless you action, you implement, you find the courage to move forward with it. For you, that isn't a very big step, is it?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think you're right in terms of everyone's got ideas, and you know, when I actually have an app where if I have an idea, I just write it down. So if anyone ever got their hands on that app, they'd be scrolling for days. So you say an app like Evernote or just a notes app. Yeah, just write it down.
Yeah, okay.
But I think the other thing is timing.
Is that a watch joke?
It wasn't, but you know, I might use it later. Thanks for that. So I think, Uncle Jack was just really good timing in the market where it was, you know, these existing brands that have been producing the same kind of watches for decades needed a bit of a shake-up. So there's a room there for a boutique kind of more youthful kind of player to come into the market.
So what did you do? You already had experience in sourcing suppliers, manufacturers. So is that the first thing you've done, or you've gone and done some designs, or?
The first thing, I didn't. The design aspect wasn't the primary focus for me. It was just making sure that there actually was a gap in the market there for, you know, as I said, a more youthful kind of brand to come into the watch market.
How do you do that? Is that just something that you have an innate ability to see gaps, or is there some research that you do? How do you know?
I think it's a bit of both, to be honest. I think, you know, university kind of textbook is, you know, do kind of SWOT analysis and that kind of thing. Yeah. But, you know, I think that can only get you so far. There's a little bit of just observing, like, because the people that I'm selling watches to is myself and my peers, my friends. So it's about talking to people, you know, seeing what they do, what their purchases are like. Are they wearing watches? What watches are they buying? You know, style preferences and stuff like that. It's just literally, you know, talking to people, and you know, it's never going to be black and white, you know, SWOT analysis sort of thing. You've got to have a hunch and particularly at the start, use a bit of your gut feeling. But yeah, I think that there is definitely a skill in kind of observing, you know, what's going on in the market for sure. When
you talk to people, I've had this conversation with past guests, how much do you listen to what they say? For me, anyway, it's kind of just getting a gist of it, because really it's a very small sample size that you're talking to. So you can't take it word for word. But again, you know, they could tell you one thing and be doing another. Totally.
So it's a bit of both, observing and talking to people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've done your SWOT analysis. You've gone out and spoken to a lot of people. You've sat back and observed people's behaviour around watches. You've gone, yep, there's a gap. Do you then go and design?
So before I designed the watch, I started talking to manufacturers, because I had an idea about, you know, kind of what the theme or what the, you know, the kind of style of the watch would be like. So I had a pretty good idea, but I hadn't gone into detail of, you know, fully designing the watch. So I started talking to manufacturers just to gauge whether it was feasible with the quantities we were going to do. You know, could we actually make money on it at this price that we wanted to do? So that was the next step for me to say, or find out, you know, can we actually do this and make money off it? And is it feasible?
Clearly it was.
Yeah.
Why the name Uncle Jack's or Uncle Jack?
Yeah, great question. So before we actually launched, we actually had another name. So we were going to launch with another name, which I can't actually say for.
Is no one listening right now? What is it?
No, I can't
Uncle
say.
Tim?
No, it's
Timbo.
completely irrelevant to anything that you see now with Uncle Jack.
Do you wish you had gone with it?
Well, not now. No. So, I mean, how the name Uncle Jack actually came about was I don't have an Uncle Jack. No one has an Uncle Jack. Like, after we had to change our name, I remember sitting in the backyard around the table and we just, stressed out. So what we did, we had one pile of words and we had another pile of words and we merged them together. And so we just picked, one word was uncle, the other word was Jack. And because that's how we wanted to be boutique, a bit different.
Yep.
We didn't want to be like, Time Watch or whatever. It had to be kind of, modern.
So that's interesting because all of a sudden you're under the pump, you've got to find a name, you have a couple of beers and out the back pull two rabbits out of a hat and go, okay, it's Uncle Jack. Yeah. How important's a name then? Is it what you put into the name or is it actually important to have the name up front?
I actually don't think the name is important at all. I mean, you look at Google, I mean, that is a bizarre name. And then
Apple's the most bizarre name of all time.
Yeah. I think it's how you brand it, how you market it. But I think in our instance, as I said, we didn't want to be like a standard, we didn't want to use time or anything like that in the name because we had to be a bit different. So I think that's the only thing that we didn't want to be. But other than that, I don't think that the name itself has a lot of impact.
It's interesting because an episode that went out recently was with a lady, Renee Bunster, who's created some hot chili sauces that have become very popular.
Yep.
And her flagship product's called Shit the Bed. So to her, the name is massively important.
Yeah.
It's the whole reason she has so much awareness.
Yeah.
So it's two schools of thought, of course.
For
but
sure.
I do see business owners get a little bit kind of twisted and freaked out trying to name something when it's like it's actually what you put into that name that's important. So you launch this watch brand. You've got I was looking at the website, there's about 10 different watches on it? 10 different styles?
At the start or now?
Now.
Now we've got about 30.
Oh,
30 total.
I must have just been on page 1. 30 different watches.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Been a good business?
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah?
Yeah. A lot of fun.
Do you love watches or you just saw them?
I've never been a watch person. So it's funny though, like before I actually went to go buy a watch for a friend, I started looking at, I was kind of at that point where I was starting to look for a watch for myself. So I'd already started thinking about it. So I think just subconsciously, like when you're looking to buy a new car, you always see that car kind of driving along. So I think subconsciously I was already thinking about it. But I've never been like a real watch enthusiast. And we don't market to the watch enthusiast market either. That's a totally different market.
Fashion market.
Yeah.
You market to the fashion market,
Yeah,
fashion conscious. So that's interesting in itself. You have found an opportunity for a gap in a market and you've gone and filled it, right? Not necessarily passionate about it. There's two schools of thought. One says you've got to be passionate about something because then you'll give it everything. But you're probably passionate about creating great businesses.
Well, yeah. I would say that. But I would also say that I'm passionate about fashion and style and creativity. So, watches are the products, but there's a lot of other kind of processes and thoughts that go into it.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
I talked to one of my boys yesterday, Will. He's 19. Said, I've heard of this bloke, Robbie Ball. He's got this brand, Uncle Jack's. Hadn't heard of you, I'm sorry, but he'd heard of Uncle Jack's. He goes, oh, yeah, they're big on social influencers. Is that right? Is that how you market the product?
Yeah, we have used, we've had quite a bit of success using influencer marketing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it is one kind of cog in the machine.
Is it a big cog? Because on your website, you've got a button that says who wears Uncle Jack.
Yeah, well, it's social currency. So you see these people that you look up to, or and you see them on the TV and they're wearing the watches. Well, I mean, it gives you a little bit of validation to say, these people are actually wearing them. Might grab one myself.
What's your social influencer marketing strategy look like? Are you literally just posting watches out to people that you hope will wear them and they'll send you back a photo of them wearing it, or are you actively paying people to do that?
Yeah, so we don't really pay anyone. So I'd say 99.9% we don't pay. So at the same time, we would never just send a watch to someone in hope that they'll wear it. We will reach out to someone that we like, whether it's a footballer or a musician or a podcaster, and just say, hey, love to send you a watch. Are you interested? So they're telling us yes, like I'd love a watch, So it's not just in hope.
When you do, so you reach out to them, you want a watch, they're going to say yes. Most people can say, yeah, I want a watch. When you send that watch, are you asking them to send back a photo of themselves with it?
Yeah, I think it's kind of I mean, we don't make it like a hard thing. Like, if they get the watch and they, as long as they're wearing it, that's my thing. Because I have a bit of a thing about influencers. My big one is targeting people who have influence outside of social media, because I think they're really the ones you want to target. So people walking down the street, and people kind of know who they are. So if they're wearing the watch and people are saying they're wearing it, to me that has bigger impact than just someone posting it who doesn't necessarily have that outside influence. Just posting it on social media has less of an impact.
Well, previous guest on the show is Jules Lund, who owns a social media influencer agency called Tribe.
Yep.
Now he is their thing is introducing brands to social influencers who pay the social influencers to do. Is that maybe a bit smelly? Is that already something that we see through as consumers?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're kind of, we're going through a phase in social media where there's no black or white. So I think that kind of falls into that grey kind of category. But Jules would know more about it. But I believe there's some regulations coming in with like tagging. So if you've been paid for
you got to put a hashtag sponsorship,
something
or
like that.
Yeah,
yeah. Which kind of takes away, for me, it kind of takes away the
it does
the point of it.
Yeah.
Because it's just another ad. You could pay for that ad elsewhere.
I want to move on to the sneaker brand, Robbie, but I am speaking to Robbie Ball, who is a serial entrepreneur at the age of 24 going on 25, and he's got Uncle Jack watches. He's had all sorts of, as you've already heard, taken on the sporting giant skins. I love it. Wrap some numbers around where Uncle Jack is today, Robbie, before we move on to the sneakers.
Yeah, cool. So Uncle Jack is, we had our 3rd birthday in September last year, so going on full.
Yeah.
So we've lucky enough to have an office and warehouse in Melbourne just around the corner. We've got about 6 or 7 staff now, launching in the US in February, so that's exciting.
Good on you.
We won a few awards and kind of...
Can you put a monetary value around the business? What size is the business from that point, or turnover or something? Yeah, so I mean,
I can give you the update from last year when we won an award, because it's public information. So at the time that was 1.4 turnover in Australia. So the US is another kettle of fish for us. So obviously that market is enormous. So yeah, I mean that's kind of a big growth opportunity for us.
How do you launch a boutique watch brand in the United States?
So I mean, again, it's kind of it's incorporating all of your marketing, your hype marketing, and kind of replicating what we've done over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to find out about hype marketing. In May, just gone, you have launched a sneaker brand. Pretty good looking sneakers too, I must say. Athletikan.
Yeah.
How come? Another Gap?
Another Gap. Yep. Almost identical as well to Uncle Jack.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Very boutique, very niche. Lots of big players.
Yep.
Your Nikes and your Asics or whatever. Probably not Asics. That's me showing my age, but you know what I mean. And so there's another gap. A very similar strategy, probably applying everything you've learned on Uncle Jack to sneakers.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. I mean, make no mistake, we're competing with Nike and Adidas. Obviously we've got a tiny percentage of the market, probably, not even enough for them to worry about right now. But again, we're kind of creating that niche in an industry, as you say, that's dominated by a few big brands. And it's at the same kind of point where the watch industry was at probably 4 years ago, where it's just kind of due for a bit of a shake-up. And I think people, with social media now, people are really conscious about what they buy and who they buy from. And I think people actually buy from people. So, I think as founders as well, if we can really, get people to subscribe to our stories. And I think that's kind of a really big selling point for us, is that, Athletikan, for example, we're a couple of guys from Melbourne that are taking on these giants. And I think people really subscribe to that.
Yep, totally. Yeah, well, very brave, I'm sure you're not advertising these sneakers. You're not running ads in magazines or TV, which is what all the other big boards are doing.
Sure. Yeah.
So again, social influencer.
Yeah, exactly the same model.
Wow. Well, let's talk about hype marketing, because this is the model that you're following. You've coined a phrase. You're writing the book. Define hype marketing.
I was on a plane, and I spent about it was a 3-hour trip. I spent about 3 hours trying to define what hype marketing was. I came up with I probably came up with 50 different definitions, but I'll summarize it as this.
Yes.
So I was using simple viral marketing strategies to create huge launches.
Simple viral marketing strategies to create huge launches. Okay, so hype marketing is about launching, is about creating initial awareness.
Yeah.
Simple viral marketing, those two words don't go together for me.
Yeah.
Because talking to the past guest, everyone wants a viral something.
Yeah.
Right? Not so simple.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, viral comes with this, I don't know if you remember, like, Coney 2012, which is big, like, viral marketing campaign. When people think of viral, they think of this huge worldwide global campaign. But, you've got to put it into perspective. For a small business owner, going viral may mean, the community that we're in. That to me is viral in that context. It's all about perspective.
Okay. So give us some perspective. Is there a step-by-step approach you can give us to hype marketing?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch of steps, really, I guess, to create, a big launch.
Yep.
So obviously the hype marketing is all about hype. But it's like, how do you create that? So, I think kind of exclusivity is a really powerful psychological tool.
Yep.
So people almost want what they can't have, in a sense. So there's different ways you can go about it. I mean, there's a lot of kind of psychology to it behind the processes. Like, you've got to have a funnel where, you're directing traffic and everything like that. But it's like, why are you launching? Like, what is it that what makes it special that you want people to purchase on launch day? Why can't they purchase now? So, whether you're launching a new business, you could be launching a new product in your business. You may just want to kind of reinvigorate things, or just get people talking about the brand, because
absolutely
it can be a real sort of PR grab as well, if you're doing something really cool.
Yep.
So the process behind it, I mean, there's kind of, first of all, you need traffic. Whether it's website traffic or could be foot traffic as well. You need to direct them somewhere. So let's say it's your website or landing page or your storefront. And then once people are in there, it's how do we capture the information, or for our to use Uncle Jack or Athletikan as an example, we want emails. That's our big thing. So if we get an email from a lead, we'll call it. We know from doing past launches that a lead to us on launch day is worth X amount. So from there, once we've got a lead...
How do you get the email?
Traffic.
Yeah, what do? How do you get the traffic?
Well, you should have traffic sources in place. So, you're talking about social media, influencer marketing. And I think... I think one of the really common questions that you would probably get all the time is, how do I get traffic?
Yes.
But it doesn't have to be complicated, and it doesn't have to be, vast. You don't have to be doing it en masse. Again, it's all about context. So your social media, your influencer marketing, it could be paid ads, could be paid Facebook ads, Google AdWords. There's a whole host of traffic sources. So once we have the leads, it's about nurturing them, and I always say that's the most important part. So it's one thing to get someone's email, but it's another thing to get them to the point where they're ready to purchase on launch day. So I have this image in my head of what the perfect hype marketing campaign looks like. And it's, say you're launching on 7 p.m. tonight, there's someone sitting there at 6:50 p.m. refreshing the website waiting for it to launch. So that's kind of where I want. That's what the whole nurturing phase is about. So there's different ways you can do it. One really easy way is to, once you have the emails, just set up an automated email series, which you can do on MailChimp or any email marketing sort of service. Could be 3 or 4 emails. A simple one: meet the team, get people to people buy from people. So meet the founders, etc. And then you want to get them excited about the product, about the launch. Whether you're only launching 100. You could be one of 100 to get it. Depends on what your selling point is. So that's just a few emails to get them really excited. The next stage that I like to use, so remarketing, particularly on Facebook, because it's often used just for sales, and it's a really effective tool. What I like to do...
Just explain what it is.
So remarketing is, so say you visit my website, there's a little cookie, I think it's called, where we can then remarket to you on Facebook, wherever you go, with specific ads based on what you've done. Why is that ad for Uncle Jack popping up all the time?
I get that so often. So what do you like to do with your remarketing?
So 4 days before the launch, what I like to do is I do a 4 days to go, 3 days to go, 2 days to go, and today's the day. So it's only spending $20-$30 on it each day, but gets people excited, gets it front of mind. So when it actually comes to the launch day, they're ready to go. They're on your website. You look at like the big sneaker launches. They literally sell out. Some of them sell out in 2 seconds.
Mate, it's incredible.
Yeah. So it's just genuine hype, and the whole process is about creating the hype and getting people excited. And as I said, getting them to the point where they're refreshing the website, ready to go.
Well, it's not a bad thing. I mean, there'll be people sort of listening probably going, it's quite a shallow approach, because at the end of the day, while those sneakers sell out in 2 seconds, I'm going to get them in 4 weeks' time, right? Because it's as if they're going to be not available. There's going to be more product coming.
Sure.
But you're kind of you just want that initial burst.
Yeah. There's businesses that just have launches, so they never have stock available.
Yeah, right.
But again, it's how you want to integrate that into your business model. It could just be a new product launch that you really want to hype. And I think particularly in the early days, we were genuinely selling out really quickly, and we never went into it trying to do hype marketing launches. It happened really organically. Just through selling out, end up being the best thing that happened to our business, because one thing you do get out of these hype marketing campaigns is people talk about the brand. People talk about the business, like, oh, did you see, Uncle Jack, their watches sold out, and blah blah blah. It's really, we can get PR out of it. People are talking about it. It's really powerful.
Okay, so what you've got is a lead up to a launch, series of emails that go out to someone who gives you their email. They're refreshing their screen, ideally 10 minutes before you go live. You then make a whole bucket load of sales. Is there any other part of hype marketing that we're missing at this point?
Well, I mean, there are obviously more in-depth kind of processes in each stage, but yeah, that's basically the summary of it. But you've got to have a value point for the customer. Like, what are they actually getting out of it? Why should they be refreshing their website at 6:50? So that you have to do a bit of thinking. So what's the value?
Well, give me an example of a value point that you've used for the watches or the sneakers.
Well, it's no different to any other business. Like, what value does the customer get? So I spoke about social currency before. That's a big selling point for both of for Uncle Jack and Athletikan. Lots of our customers want to get their hands on the product because, as we're talking about influencer marketing.
So they've got one.
Exactly right, yeah. So you've got to have a reason to launch. It's
Yep.
not just, you can't do it for the sake of it and just expect it to go gangbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's really got to be a reason. There's got to be a value add for the customer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. What was the other name for Uncle Jack's you were saying before? Hey, Robbie, I love your enthusiasm, mate. What have you got in terms of what's planned? I mean, you must be getting bored already of the sneaker brand. It's not well, is it? It's not quite 12 months old, but you must be tiring of it. What's next?
I'm actually launching another brand this year.
Yes?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
What is it?
Men's rings, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, so another kind of observation in the market.
Right.
More and more people men are wearing rings now as a kind of like a fashion statement. So, a bit of market research there. Paddy Kennedy,
Who's Paddy Kennedy?
brother of.
Brother of Dan Kennedy, who's
Dan
a listener
Kennedy.
of the show, and my PT.
Yep.
Got a great podcast, by the way.
Yes. So we actually, I was chatting to him about
Yeah.
it. He's involved with it as well, and he wears really, these really cool kind of out there rings. And I'm like, well, where do you actually get them? Because I'm looking to buy one myself. And he's like, I get them at, markets and just random spots that I see. And I was like, well, someone needs to do this.
Yes.
So that's the next one coming out.
You got a name for it?
Hunter Black.
Okay, I can get that.
Yep. My kind of goal is to create this kind of network of brands.
Yeah,
Like
there's a real similarity. I see what you're doing now.
Yeah.
So fashion is almost the driver.
for sure.
Finding a gap that's undermarketed, not kind of met by the bigger guys.
Spot on.
I've
Yeah.
got you now,
Yeah.
Robbie. I know exactly what you're doing. Is most of your distribution online?
Yes. Yeah.
100%?
95%.
Will it stay that way?
I think the way retail's going, probably. We with Uncle Jack, we're starting to get into a few stores. I mean, it's a really good kind of touch point for customers.
Sure.
To go in and try it on, for example, which you can't do online.
It's a bit like Bellroy wallets because they for years were online, right? I love those wallets.
Okay.
And do you know the ones I'm talking
No,
about?
I don't. No.
Old school, but they then got a contract with Henry Bucks, which is a gentleman's outfitter in.
All right.
I think they're in National, but that did change things. I thought it did two things. As a fan of the Bellroy brand, been trying to get the owners of on this show, by the way. They lived out the coast, and I think they're pretty relaxed.
Yeah, right.
I loved the independent nature of Bellroy when they were just online, a pure online play. When I saw them in the windows of Henry Bucks, it sort of changed things a little bit for me. It was like if they sold out,
Commercialised a little bit.
Stone and Wood was another example, although Stone and Wood beer was never an online play, but it was a very independent brewery. Now they've been kind of bought out and they're in Dan Murphy's. But it's an interesting balance you have to get, right? Because I imagine you're getting distribution is it department store distribution for you, or
At this stage, we're looking more at kind of the independent kind of scene. I think kind of initially when we started Uncle Jack, we were kind of rebelling against the kind of the big department store. So, I think in one way it's almost ironic if we do end up in department stores because, I think we'll do really well against kind of, exactly what we were fighting against, those big brands who are just producing the same style of watches over and over again. And we're doing some really cool stuff. Like, we printed we did a print from Hosier Lane and printed that onto a watch strap, which is just,
that's cool.
just stuff that hasn't been done before. So
that's great.
Stands out like a sore thumb in
Yeah.
in a big department
Hosier
store.
Lane being, for the overseas listeners, interstate listeners, a lane full of wonderful graffiti. So you've taken a snapshot of that and put on a band. I like that.
Yep.
Personalised products. We had a lady, Mon Purse. She's doing personalised. You know Mon Purse?
Yep,
It's an amazing brand.
Yeah, awesome.
Out of Paddington in Sydney, and
Yep.
you go in there. I think she had some weird, like millions and millions of permutations and combinations of the one purse. But clearly, people love that personalisation approach. You can do more of that.
Yeah, so in terms of personalisation, it's just in the last probably 2 years has exploded.
Yeah.
So we actually do monogramming on our leather watches, whereas like you can get your initials punched into the watch strap when you buy a watch. So that's been really sort of popular because as we said at the start, watches are a really standard gift. So it's that little extra touch in getting someone's initials as a present. We'll continue to kind of I think that's the way retail's going anyway, is personalisation. So, yeah, we'll be constantly adapting and innovating in that sense.
I can imagine all of a sudden you get enough products. You've got watches covered, you've got sneakers, you're going to have men's jewellery, rings. There'll almost be a shop at some point where you can outfit a bloke.
You're a clever man, Tim.
It's on the cards, isn't it? Is it? What's that brand called?
No, well, I think if we get to a point where we have I could call it a collective of brands, you'd be silly not to put them all in one spot eventually. Whether that's online or, an experience store.
Yes.
That are becoming more popular.
Seems to be where it's going, isn't it? We have we've had Spell on the Gypsy Collective on this show, a fashion brand out of Byron, which they do $20 million a year online,
right.
but they've got one shop in Byron that people fly to from overseas.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's really. It's just the way it's going at the moment with that kind of experience.
What do those shops look like? Do you know? Are they literally just you encourage? It's like Apple. You're almost encouraged not to buy there, right? They want you to buy online.
Yeah.
But come and check the product out, feel it, look at it. Is that kind of where it's going from a retail perspective?
Yeah, well, I recently attended a couple of retail events, and one of the big things that people were talking about was these experience stores where you can go in and try it on, but instead of actually buying the product there, you literally scan the code next to the product and you buy it on your phone and it just gets sent from the warehouse, wherever the warehouse is. So you go in, try it on and go, yep, I do like it, I'm going to buy it. And it'll get sent to you in a day or two. There
is a shift that it's a generational shift. I mean, my generation, maybe that below me, we like to go into a shop and walk out with something. Like that's part of the reason we've gone out, a major part. Whereas going to a shop, buying it online, and then waiting for it to come in a couple of days' time. But I think probably distribution systems. I know in the States, Amazon are promising in some parts, like within an hour. Order online or be at your door within an hour.
Yeah.
Australia's a bit harder from that point of view, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Just geographically, it's very difficult. Another thing they were talking about at the conference was kind of, a lot of people were... instead of offering that 1 hour shipping, there's other value adds as well. So, customers' experience is the big one. So, not necessarily competing on price is how can you add other values to the customer.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Love it, mate. Robbie, I feel like you're sort of in day one, mate. You got the watches and the rings and the sneakers sorted, but I think it's going to be an exciting journey for you. I look forward to watching it. Maybe get you on in a year's time when you've got another 10 brands under your belt. You don't want to rush these things.
No, of course not, yeah.
How can people find you?
So my personal, melbournepreneur.com, and on Instagram at melbournepreneur. Uncle Jack is at Uncle Jack Watches and unclejackwatches.com, and Athletikan is athletikan.com at Athletikan.
Mate, there's a lot of calls to action there. Well done, Robbie. Thanks for sharing, mate.
Thanks very much for having me on.
Well, there you go, team. Robbie Ball, serial entrepreneur of Uncle Jack's Watches, Athletikan, sneakers, a men's ring brand. Boy, oh boys, he got a lot coming up. Now, I'm going to share my top 3 attention grabbers from that fireside chat with Robbie. Plus, I will be helping listener Thomas Gardner get more clients for his massage business. Cash flow in business is everything, right? That's why I'm excited to introduce you to Prosper, Australia's #1 online lender to Aussie small businesses. But don't take my word for it. Small business owner Nioli Scobie of Truly Tea won the contract to supply the Opera House and needed to quickly ship tens of thousands of tea bags and 2 tons of loose leaf tea. Where was she going to get the money for that?
Okay, well, I already supplied, part of the Opera House, and then they offered me, inside the Opera House, which is a very big deal, and I had to have a lot of stock on hand. You can't say no to the Opera House when they place an order, they want it the next day, and those are the terms of trade, and I wasn't going to say no to them. I'd knocked back too many opportunities in the past, so I phoned up a finance guy I trusted. He said, look, there's a new player on the market, Prosper, give them a call. I gave them a call, and within 24 hours I had the money in the bank.
Prosper, Prospa. That's where she got the money. Apply online in 10 minutes to borrow up to $250,000. Call 1300 882 867 or visit prosper.com/Timbo.
Here's a money-making tip from American Express member and Four Pillars Gin founder, Stu Gregor.
I, for the life of me, don't understand why a business won't accept Amex, because what you're potentially doing is knocking back customers who want to spend money on your product or your brand or your service or whatever it is. And I frankly don't understand it. If someone wants to give me their Amex and buy 10 bottles of gin, I tell you what, I'll take their Amex, thanks very much. You're potentially also denying yourself a big chunk of corporate business as well. You know, because a lot of sales guys, a lot of guys, I know me in my own business, I use Amex. And if I go to, if I ring to make a booking at a restaurant or a bar or something, I say, do you accept Amex? And they say no, I go somewhere else. So they don't even know the business they're missing out on. It beggars belief. And I often find myself having these rather awkward conversations at the with a shopkeeper or a bar owner or a restaurateur saying, why wouldn't you take it? I'll pay you the extra. I'll pay 1.5, the credit card service fee or whatever you want. Take my money.
It's Business 101, really. Make it easy for people to give you money. Speaking of money, the American Express Business Explorer credit card comes with 50,000 bonus points every year, a low interest rate, and 2 points on every dollar you spend. Not to mention a couple of tickets to the very swish Amex Lounge at Sydney International Airport. Search Amex Business to find out more. New American Express card members only. Terms and conditions apply.
Righto, my top 3 attention grabbers from our chat with Robbie Ball, thanks to Prosper, Amex and Design Crowd. Attention grabber number 1. Robbie uses an app to capture all his ideas. I like this. I reckon you should too. I do it. The Simple Notes app on your smartphone is absolutely fine, but you can step it up with Evernote, which lets you capture not just words, but photos, video and audio parts of any idea that you come across in your travels. Or you could go old school and carry a journal around with you. Attention grabber number 2. Robbie's comment around putting viral marketing videos into perspective rang a bell with me. Now, whilst it would be great to create a blog post or a video or a podcast episode that gets shared by millions, it's also a solid outcome if your content is shared by hundreds, right? What's that saying? Shoot for the stars and you might just land on the moon. I think if we kind of put things into perspective, viral doesn't need to mean hundreds of thousands or millions of views and shares and likes and all that type of stuff. Great comment, Robbie. Attention grabber number 3, put more effort into launching or relaunching parts of your business. I like the hype marketing approach. You know, a launch is a great opportunity to create excitement and anticipation around what you've got to offer. So make the most of them. Use launch strategies. It could be for a new product line, a new service offering, could even be for a new division of your business. But embrace this concept of hype marketing, of launching things, of creating anticipation. That's what grabbed my attention. I really would love to know what grabbed yours. Thank you to all those that do leave comments in the show notes. It means a lot to me, and I reply to every single one of them. So do my guests. So for this episode, head over to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/402 and tell me your thoughts. Right-o, where are we? Listen to question time, I reckon. This one is from Thomas Gardner. He says, hello, Timbo. Hello, Thomas. I am a massage therapist in Alabama, USA. Sorry, I couldn't help. I like the word Alabama. It's got nice syntax, and I think that's the accent. He goes on to say, I have recently started listening to your podcast, and you have an amazing show. Stop it, Thomas. Thank you. Where have you been, though? Been going for 9 years. My question is this. What marketing practices can I implement to increase my business apart from education, social media, and word of mouth? Thanks, Thomas Gardner. So it's an interesting question, Thomas, a very broad question, very general question. Pull you up on a couple of things before I give you 5 things that I would do if I were a massage therapist. One is word of mouth isn't a marketing strategy. Word of mouth is the result of great marketing. Okay. And you have an @Gmail email address. So I don't even know what your website is. Any business owner listening, and I know you are out there, if you've got an @Hotmail or @Outlook or @Gmail email address, lose it. Register the domain of your business and get yourself and everyone in your business an @your business name email address. It looks so much more professional. Okay, off my soapbox. If I was a massage therapist in need of more clients, here's 5 things I would do. Number 1, I'd ask my existing client base for 2 referrals each. Go back and have a listen to the Paddy Lund interview with the dentist Paddy Lund, and that's exactly what he did. He also sacked a whole lot of clients he didn't like. The next thing I'd do, number 2, reward those who provide referrals that convert to clients. Have a listen to the Steve Sims interview I did a number of years ago, still absolutely relevant. A wonderful referral marketing system does he reveal. The third thing I'd do, Thomas, is make yourself known and make a simple offer to all the local sporting clubs in your area. People who do sport need massage. They stiffen up. They get sore. You're the man for them. The fourth thing I would do is create a customer experience that gets people talking. Serve herbal teas. Offer different background music options. Just create a whole experience where people can't help but tell others, wow, you've got to see Thomas Gardner. He is just the acest masseur, and it's just such a lovely thing to go and visit him. That's the outcome you want from that. And the fifth thing I'd do, Thomas, to get more clients, if I were a massage therapist, is identify large businesses in your area and offer to do free 5-minute scalp massages for their staff. Be sure to leave behind a bunch of flyers if you do that, okay? So, go into a business, offer them, say, 2 hours where you wander around and give 5-minute scalp massages for them to see just how good you are. Hey, Thomas, thank you for your question. Thanks for finding and supporting my show. Everyone else, if you've got a marketing question, email me, tim@timreid.com.au. Oh boy, you and I cover some serious marketing ground in this show. Have you had a listen to the chat I had with Dan Presser, who has built 2 big food brands using only radio advertising? Fascinating. Or what about the very confronting chat I had with media personality Richard Stubbs about my interviewing style? I sort of enjoyed that. He pulled me apart and put me back together again. You'll find both those episodes plus hundreds more over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, or you can subscribe free on your favourite podcast app, and that means you'll never miss another episode, ever, because the app catches the new ones and drops them in and does all that business. I'd love to hear from you. Hit the contact button over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com, a website that is being rebuilt, redesigned, by Dave Jenyns at Melbourne SEO Services, where you can email me, you can connect with me on social media, you can even buy my book, The Boomerang Effect. Hey, a big thank you to Prosper, Australia's #1 online lender to small businesses. You can check them out at prosper, prospa.com/Timbo. Thank you to Design Crowd, the world's #1 custom design marketplace. I like all these #1s. You can grab $100 off your brief if you go to designcrowd.com/Timbo. Pretty good if you want anything design for your business. And also thanks to the American Express Business Explorer credit card for making this show possible. You can search Amex Business to find out how they can get your business expenses rewarding you. If you love the Small Business Big Marketing Show, and it is episode 402, so, hopefully we're doing something right by now, then let another business owner know about it by grabbing their phone and downloading this show for them. I'd really love you to do that, and I think they'll love you for it too. Until next week, I am Timbo Reid, always have been, always will be. Thanks for tuning in. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.